Who is the Somerton Man? This question has haunted investigators and armchair detectives for over 70 years. Found slumped against a seawall on Somerton Beach, Australia in 1948, the man seemed to have vanished from thin air. No wallet, no identification, no clues to his identity. He became Australia's most baffling cold case, a puzzle with missing pieces that refused to be found. The man himself was unremarkable in appearance, middle-aged, fit, dressed in a suit. Yet, something about him screamed mystery. His pockets held a curious collection of items, a used bus ticket, an unused train ticket, a pack of chewing gum. These mundane objects offered no solace to investigators, only deepening the enigma. The Somerton Man story is a chilling reminder of the capricious nature of life and death. He exists as a stark question mark, a symbol of the unknown that lurks at the edges of our understanding. His story, shrouded in secrets, continues to fascinate and frustrate, a testament to the enduring power of mystery. December 1st, 1948, dawned like any other summer day in Adelaide. Beachgoers flocked to the sandy shores of Somerton, eager to soak up the sun. But that afternoon, a chilling discovery cast a pall over the idyllic scene. Lying lifeless on the beach was a man, his head resting on a seawall. The police were immediately summoned. The man, they noted, was well-dressed, his clothes carefully pressed. He lay back, his legs extended, one arm bent, the other outstretched. A cigarette rested on his chest, having rolled from his lips. His death seemed peaceful, but the circumstances were far from ordinary. The man carried no identification, his tags removed, his pockets strangely empty save for a few odd items. Who was this man, and how did he end up dead on Somerton Beach? The questions hung heavy in the air, the start of a mystery that would span decades. The investigation into the Somerton Man's identity began with his clothing. His suit, though well-made, bore no tailor's labels, adding another layer to the puzzle. As the medical examiner delved deeper, he discovered something even more peculiar, a small, hidden pocket in the man's trousers. Inside the pocket lay a tightly rolled piece of paper barely larger than a cigarette butt. Printed on the paper were the words Taman Shud, Persian for finished or ended. The scrap, it turned out, had been torn from a rare book of Persian poetry, a copy of the Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam. The discovery of the Taman Shud note sent a shiver down the spines of investigators. Was this a suicide note? A cryptic message from an unknown enemy? The scrap of paper, imbued with an air of intrigue, became a tantalizing clue in the increasingly baffling case. Weeks turned into months, and the Somerton Man's identity remained elusive. The Taman Shud note, initially thought to be a vital clue, only deepened the mystery. Examinations revealed faint pencil markings on the back of the note, seemingly random letters grouped in a nonsensical order. Codebreakers from across Australia and even the United States were called in to decipher the strange markings. They pored over the letters, searching for patterns, for any hint of meaning. But the code, if that's what it was, remained stubbornly unbreakable, its secrets locked away. The unyielding code added yet another layer of intrigue to the Somerton Man case. Was it a cipher, a coded message from a shadowy organization, or was it simply meaningless scribbles, a cruel trick of fate? The answer, like the man himself, remained frustratingly out of reach. As months turned to years, the trail surrounding the Somerton Man grew colder, shrouded in a veil of dead ends and false leads. Investigators chased down countless tips and theories, each one leading to a disappointing dead end. The man, it seemed, was a phantom, leaving behind no trace of his passage through life. One promising lead involved a woman who claimed to recognize the Somerton Man from a plaster cast of his face. She believed he was a man she had met years earlier, but her story ultimately unraveled, leaving investigators back at square one. The man's identity, like a mirage in the desert, seemed tantalizingly close yet forever out of reach. The lack of progress in the case only served to fuel public fascination. Theories abounded, ranging from espionage to Cold War intrigue, but none could be substantiated. The Somerton Man, it seemed, was destined to remain an enigma, his true identity lost to the sands of time. Amidst the dead ends, one clue continued to tantalize investigators: the Rubaiyat connection. The torn Taman Shud note pointed to a copy of the book, and soon, a man came forward claiming to have found just such a book. He said he'd discovered it discarded in his car on the night the Somerton Man was found. On the back of this rubaiyat, investigators found another set of faint pencil markings, seemingly another coded message. But this book held an even more intriguing clue. A phone number, carefully written on the inside cover. The number belonged to a former nurse who lived just a short distance from Somerton Beach. The nurse, when questioned, said she barely remembered the man and had no idea why her number would be in his book. She claimed to have given him a copy of the rubaiyat, but this only deepened the mystery. Who was this woman, and what, if any, was her connection to the Somerton Man? Decades passed and the Somerton Man case remained unsolved, a stubborn enigma that refused to be forgotten. But with the advent of new technologies, hope flickered anew. Forensic scientists, armed with the tools of DNA analysis, began to revisit the case, hoping to unlock the secrets held within the Somerton Man's remains. In 2019, authorities exhumed the Somerton Man's body from its grave in Adelaide, hoping to extract DNA samples that could finally reveal his identity. The exhumation, a delicate and painstaking process, was watched closely by the world, eager for any breakthroughs in the long cold case. The DNA analysis, however, proved to be a lengthy and complex process, and the world waited with bated breath for answers. The Somerton Man, it seemed, was determined to hold on to his secrets, even in death. But for the first time in decades, there was a sense of hope, a glimmer of light in the long darkness. In 2022, after years of painstaking research and analysis, a team of genetic genealogists announced a major breakthrough in the Somerton Man case. Using DNA extracted from the exhumed remains, they had finally identified the mysterious man as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne, Australia. The identification of Carl Webb sent shockwaves through the world, finally putting a name to the face that had haunted investigators and amateur sleuths for over 7 decades. But while the discovery answered one crucial question, it also opened up a Pandora's box of new mysteries. Who was Carl Webb, and what led him to Somerton Beach on that fateful day in 1948? Was his death a tragic accident, a suicide, or something more sinister? The answers, it seemed, lay buried in the past, waiting to be unearthed. The identification of Carl Webb marked a significant turning point in the Somerton Man case, yet the mystery is far from over. While we now know his name, the circumstances surrounding his death, and the meaning behind the cryptic clues he left behind, remain shrouded in mystery. What was Carl Webb doing in Adelaide? Why did he have no identification? Who was the mysterious woman with the phone number? And what about the Taman Shud note and the coded messages? These questions continue to linger, unanswered whispers from the past. The Somerton Man case, once a baffling enigma, has transformed into a compelling human story, a tale of secrets, identity, and the enduring power of the past. While some questions may never be answered, the search for truth continues, fueled by a desire to bring closure to a mystery that has captivated the world for generations. What are your thoughts? What really happened to Carl Webb?